Alright folks, welcome back to the New Sentinel. This is Chukwuka here. Now, if you've been keeping up with us, you know we love a good Crossroads episode. And I don't know if there's a better way to start than what just went down at the October ASEAN Summit. Major, you want to tee us off?
Absolutely, Chukwuka. Look, this ASEAN meeting, usually pretty business as usual, turned into a staring contest, right? The U.S. and China both rolled in flexing over Taiwan. There was a whole lot of, diplomatic muscle flexing. U.S. Secretary of State held pretty firm, too, which was something we talked about last month when Beijing was rattling sabers in the South China Sea. It's almost like both sides are treating ASEAN as a chessboard for the Taiwan issue now.
It's not just the high-level drama, though. On the street, anxiety is rising. Even in Southeast Asia, people worry. These summits can feel so far away, but the outcome touches daily lives. I met with young activists in Bangkok who told me they're organizing, not just for local democracy, but in solidarity with Taiwan's resistance to intimidation. It's this networked sense of fear, but also hope.
Sticking with power plays, we got elections in Europe, too. France just went through a bruiser, yeah? Nationalists, kind of like MAGA French style, gained ground, but the progressives are hanging in by their fingernails. Same story out of Italy. Nationalist platforms, pushback on Brussels, a lot of street noise. That's not just ballot boxes. That's real people in the barricades, literally sometimes.
And barricades, let's talk Paris. Last week I was there covering protests. You could smell the tear gas, taste the anger. I saw a young mother, her kid on her hip, shouting for affordable housing and dignity. It's not just left versus right. It's about who gets to feel safe and heard. The authorities, I have to say, met crowds with escalating force. Protesters I spoke to said they're tired of being painted as radicals for simply asking to live decently.
Olga, your story. It reminds me, the world's not just policy papers and speeches, eh? It's fear and hope on the ground. Everywhere you turn, someone's having to pick a side, whether in a voting booth or on the street. That strikes a chord with what we unpacked a few episodes ago about unrest fueling cultural shifts. All right, before we run out of breath on politics, let's talk the other half of hard power.
Now you're speaking my language. So, Russia, never a dull moment, am I right? They've been amping up near the Baltics again. People think, oh, more drills. But the scale this year, it's got NATO on red alert. The Brits and Germans pulled a joint exercise, basically putting on a show that, hey, Moscow, we're not napping. This is like Cold War theater, but the script's got AI-written lines now.
Major, you hit on something that ties right back to cyber. U.S. is rolling out new cyber defense setups, drills, war games, big budget. Like you said, it's chess, but with invisible pieces. I mean, we talked about this when the October shutdown almost paralyzed comms. Now, cyber's the domain where conflict starts and sometimes ends without a shot fired.
Yeah, exactly. This stuff feels a lot like classic chess. You hold pieces back, lay a trap. But now the pieces are like algorithms, and it's a lot harder to tell if your king's actually under threat or if it's all smoke and mirrors. The Soviets and us used to do this with agents and radio, cat and mouse games. But now it's all screen glow.
Man, let me jump in. This cyber war stuff is wild, but boots still matter. When I was in Poland, right near that Belarus border, you felt the tension. Live drills, real ammo, readiness levels you could taste in the chow line. I ain't saying NATO's perfect, but that's the closest I've seen to Cold War nerves since, maybe Kosovo. Stuff gets real, quick, and the troops know it. Which, sorry to go off, but that deployment still sticks with me. Kids fresh out of basic trying to read signals, so they're ready if the real deal breaks off.
That's what's so chilling, Duke. There's always human cost. For every high-tech war game, there is a conscript or a family watching from a small town, wondering if next week brings escalation. These military moves aren't just news headlines. They are people's entire lives swinging on a decision made 1,000 kilometers away.
It all connects. Populations, soldiers, cyber. Now power used to be just guns and tanks, but as we're seeing, information is a battlefield too. And no better way to split to our next slice than pop culture. Anybody ready to tear into that circus?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, AI-generated music in 2025 is everywhere. From Seoul to LA, algorithms are cranking out viral hits, and celebrities are sometimes less musician and more software partner. But there's a dark side. These songs get harnessed by political campaigns, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly, reshaping public feeling. It's not just the old propaganda machines, it's memetics fueled by deep learning.
You're right, Olga. Man, the past year's been a blur. Blockbuster movies, streaming wars, content flying everywhere. Marvel's Rise of the Phoenix. Everyone and their grandma's seen it twice. Meanwhile, China drops Red Empire. Suddenly, global box office records get shattered from both sides. It's not just entertainment. It's influence campaigns and surround sound, right?
You got that? Soft power's now movie night and TikTok. Look at what happened with Korea's last AI-fueled dance trend. Kids here jumped on it before it even hit South Korea's top 10. I mean, this stuff moves faster than NATO logistics, and that's saying something.
Can't forget, the line between pop culture and state messaging is always blurry. We talked about this in our Pop Culture Goes Global episode, but now it's less about hiding the truth and more about weaponizing charisma, memes, all that jazz. Plato's been replaced by influencers, and half our debates start on a live stream or in a Discord chat now.
Major, ain't that the truth? It makes me think back. Remember how pop culture played out in the 80s? Movies, radio, even sports. Every little thing turned into a which side are you on moment. But now, it's like propaganda's on turbo, everywhere, all the time, and being beamed straight onto your watch or your smart glasses. That's why these stories matter. Politics, power, even the music you pump at the gym, it's all connected.
Absolutely, and as always, we can't forget the human stories behind the algorithms. The way pop culture is shaped and weaponized touches us all, from big city billboards to the smallest rural towns.
That's a wrap for this briefing. Folks, pay attention, dig in, and don't just eat what they're feeding. Question it. Season's just heating up, so don't blink.
Yeah, keep your head on a swivel. And seriously, thanks for riding along with us. There's always more coming down the chute.
Brilliant, team. That's all for today's deep dive into power, politics, and pop. We'll be back soon to break down whatever the world throws at us next. Could be chaos, could be hope. So I'll say cheers, and let's sign off.
Take care, everyone. Don't lose hope. Stay curious.
Be safe out there, folks.
See you in the next one. Out.